It's infuriating, bro. You love your wife so much that sometimes you're not willing to directly question how you feel. No, she had said that she was like attracted to one of my friends or something like that. But that's immediate, like it's yeah, that's honestly you don't. It's truly totally said that he's attractive. That's what the Clipper said. If you say he's attractive, same guy's attractive. Same again, Larry. Larry has a very Larry's very blue pill, bro. It's actually kind of shocking how blue pill he is. The more and more I listen to him talk, the more I'm like because you can tell off of his response that he believes in blank slate equalism. He said he's fine, but he's not like he's fine, but he's fine, right? But then somebody in chat was saying, but she never said no, so Larry was trolling me. Yeah, but she never said no, so I was just laughing, like, never been laughing because I didn't say it. Like, I'm one of those people that laughs. She's like, you know. See. Yeah, that was really bad. Well, they're annoying at boys. Okay, so that's a big one. That's always talked about viral topic. Guy friends. I, the way I think about that is men cannot be friends. There's too much tension there, so it just can't happen in any context. So you're saying that you do. So it's like he's married, he has 2 kids. Larry knows him multiple times, and this is like my friend that we're like hanging out every day. Like I see him, I haven't seen him 2 years in person. Like I see him occasionally in Dubai, like once every 6 months because he lived in Abu Dhabi. But he's been like my best friend for 10 years. But the thing is, if you were to present that opportunity to these guy friends, in 99.99% of the cases, they're going to choose to engage in relations with you. So, but he never. There was never an attempt. There was never ever a situation. Never gave him the opportunity. So. Well, still, that's what happened to me. But we're so like polar opposites of like each other types as well. Maybe like I can't even imagine that anything like that could ever happen between us. But it's just like maybe you can't imagine that, and I believe you. But that's not what he's sitting there thinking. He's thinking, oh, maybe one day, maybe if I'm going to this relationship. Even if that was ever like that's on his mind, but that's not your fault. That's not a problem of you necessarily. But you got to know, man. You got to know the guy, and that's all. That's going to be every single guy. Maybe you can't imagine that. I believe, but that's not what he's sitting there thinking. He's thinking, oh, maybe one day, maybe he'll be this relationship. But I mean, it was never a situation. Well, still, that doesn't mean like we're so like polar opposites of like each other types as well. Maybe like I can't even imagine that anything like that could ever happen between us. But it's just like sitting there thinking, oh, maybe one day, maybe something in this relationship. Even if that was ever like that's on his mind, but that's not. And I believe you because men are different, but that's not what he's sitting there thinking. He's thinking, oh, maybe one day, maybe if I'm really nice and this relationship. Even if that was ever like that's on his mind, but that's not your fault. That's not a problem of you necessarily, but you got to know men. You got to know the guy, and that's all. That's going to be every single guy. Your person. Should have even if that. Oh. Just so there was something there. And so there was. You're saying if it were to happen. No, I'm saying even if that was ever a fleeting thought for him, where he would like, oh, there was ever a weird opportunity where he was like, oh, I guess we're like that would have been gone a decade ago. I never felt ever like an ounce of him trying at me in any way other than like purely friendship, like pure friend. Like he always treated me like a sister. But that is, to be fair, a lot of people's in is the whole friendship card, playing that role, being that supportive. But I mean, he was a friend of like my best friends. My best friend. Just a guy who really doesn't have game at the end of the day. He has a lot of game, and like he always like used to like he was kind of like with one of my best friends. But there was just never anything. It was, I don't know. He's just my best friend, and I never noticed anything inappropriate with him. And Larry feels very comfortable with him, and like he helped us out now while we were in Russia. Like he's just a good guy, and like he knows. Like I told him straight away about him, and I introduced him where I made him feel comfortable around him and about him. And when I was staying here, like somebody's asking me, oh, I don't know. Somebody asked us, in fact, can Larry have girlfriend because I said I have a girlfriend. I was like, no, because he never had the girlfriend before. And why would he have one while in a marriage with me? All of a sudden, like, I'm not gonna create now a best friend where, like a guy best friend while I'm married. This was just like way before him. So now he never had a girlfriend before me. Why would he all of a sudden have it while in marriage with me? Well, what I don't think it's a good idea for Larry to just go out and inorganically get a girlfriend, but if something that made sense sort of came about, would you be opposed to that? Well, it depends on the situation. Like, for example, our video. It's just timing for you that you already had a guy that you were friends with. Yeah, and it shouldn't even. And Larry was should be no ethics. And if she doesn't like it, she can go pounce in. Okay, you get the lawyer like dictators, dude. Like maybe it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't, dude. And I know some people don't like hearing that, but no one really gives a fuck about being very blunt and honest here. Who gives a fuck? But maybe there's some sort of relationship that could form for him after the fact that you already married, and it's just there's. But you don't like it though. Just overall, you don't like him having any friends. Have you ever done that? Hung out with your guy friend without Larry's presence? Yeah. Oh, that's weird. That's just like insanely hypocritical. So because it's not like I created a guy friend all of a sudden. I'm trying to see him like outside of like like trying to go on lunch. Like I just met like a friend in America now that I moved here, and all of a sudden like, oh yeah, we're gonna go with this person for lunch, and just like became friends with him. What I'm saying, this was happened like a decade ago, like 10 years ago. I haven't met any guy friend. You guys said they're view body. I don't know what's view body and what's not. I just know that I don't view body. View body is for. And since I've been with Larry, or even before Larry, this friend has been my friend for 10 years. Does that make sense to you at all? Yeah, she's been friends with this person. She's been friends with this person for over a decade, and he was well before my time. It didn't actually help myself when I was in Russia, and I didn't detect any sort of romance to them. I don't see. Yeah, but he simply tried before in the past, but would do it if the opportunity presented itself. Like guys, the reason why having a friend, the reason why your girl can't have a friend, the reason why your girl can't have a male friend is because we all know that women are useless as friends. I mean, women are useless as girlfriends. Let's be honest. Even as girlfriends, they tend to be useless. You have to coach them and teach them everything to make them useful. So could you imagine if they're not even sucking your, like, what? Get out of here. They're already useless. So since they're already useless, what's the point of being friends with them? They're barely useful when you are them, bro. Then you're dumb if you want to be friends with them without getting yourself. Come on, bro. That's why I don't buy it. That's why I don't buy it. They always have ulterior motives because being a friend with a woman in of itself is useless. There you go. They offer no utility, bro. Like none. With him, there was never even. Listen, I got this so secure in our
relationship that you trust her, and when she tells you, look, like it's always been platonic, and take the word for it, and that's that. Would it be fair for me to say, yeah, platonic for her, not the other? Hey, well, you've known this person for like 10 years. You can't talk to me anymore because I just don't want you to. But I don't, because if it was really bothering me, I would. But it just doesn't. Like, he's not local. Like, he lives across the country. Like, they're not seeing each other all the time. They're hardly ever interacting. I mean, how else do you even speak to him on the phone, if ever? You know, it's like, not something.
We do speak, you know, but it's like, it was never anything, if you ever used to go through chat, it was never anything I would hide from you. Like, there's always a chat.
The problem would be that, she's saying if you were to be going out and getting a coffee with someone of the opposite gender, like that wouldn't be okay.
No,
while
because
justifying herself doing the exact thing.
because he doesn't have, if he had like, before me, like before me, and they were friends for real, I didn't pay the answer. There's something, but all of a sudden he never had it wants to have all of a sudden that he's just doesn't make sense because
Well, 10 years ago, he might have been in a spot that it didn't make sense for him to cultivate a relationship with a woman or something, and maybe it did for you, right? So,
no, but like somebody from like that is working with or whatever, call him or stuff like that. Like that's for me understandable. Like all of a sudden because I know the way he works and I know he even told me I never had like a girlfriend himself and he just does not feel.
Yeah, because they're useless. You ever ask yourself why? Friends are useless, dude. That's why. Okay? Sorry to bring up the elephant in the room here, but yeah, friends are useless. Okay? That's why. Like, I gotta spell this shit out for everybody?
Comfortable for me having that, like he told me himself, and all of a sudden, like he tells me, "Oh, I changed my mind. I want to have a girlfriend." Don't you think that just like sounds ridiculous?
it's not about changing your mind, right? It's like if something came about that made sense for Larry to have a girl, whether it was someone that he trained in the gym with, that's just a friend.
But he doesn't train with anybody at the gym like a girl.
I'm just saying if it made sense, if something were to come about that made sense for him to have a friendship with a girl, you're sort of saying like, no, that's not okay.
Yes, that's my boundary,
and that's
maybe it's hyper.
Okay, so then he should be able to tell you, don't hang out with your guy. Like, he doesn't care, I guess. You can make that argument, he doesn't care. But it's still wildly inappropriate for her to impose these standards on him that he doesn't impose on her. And he's the man, like, Larry, you're the guy here, bro. Yo, watching this shit's infuriating, bro.
Maybe to use hypocritical, yeah. But that's my boundary, and like that's not something I'm willing to change, and he knows that, and for him, he.
Okay, well then you know what, bro? You're single then. Bro, like, come on, man. This has pictures of herself all over the internet looking like a whore, bro. Like, the least you could do is let me go another without you crying and complaining about it, bro. Incredible. Incredible. These are out of order, dude. Out of order, man.
Feels comfortable, like
insane.
Your perspective and in your dynamic that does not work. But in my dynamic, in our dynamic, that's how it is, and that's that, You know, the opportunity made sense for me too. At this stage of my life, I didn't have to find the friend feet. Maybe it's another streamer that we're not collaborating with right now. For example, like it's likely probably never with a streamer, at least in the early stage of relationship, I have that particular person, very speaking, alone with my wife, and maybe that could develop later on where like the wife is very comfortable, maybe the streamer person that's a boyfriend, she's married, and then she's okay, fine, like I trust you, and I mean, you had that, like where we were, like you collaborate, for example, Papa Fitness multiple times, and I wasn't even comfortable before I met her. Once I met her, and like I met her boyfriend, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, and they were communicating like, it's what she likes or what she doesn't like. That's the thing, bro. Like, you do what you want. You're the man. You pay the bills. Or maybe you're just an allowance. Like, yo, if I'm giving you an allowance, okay, you're gonna shut the fuck up, okay? I'm giving you an allowance, which means I'm allowed to fuck other. Okay, that's how this goes. If I'm giving a chick 50K a month as an allowance, and I'm not allowed to fuck another, I'll be bro. Like, what? I'm giving you an allowance to allow you to shut the fuck up about my affairs. Craziness, dude. Craziness. It's like sometimes I think like I'm like I'm an island by myself or something. Yo, like, am I the only guy that thinks like and like we shouldn't take anything they say seriously? Like, Larry, come on, man. Like not just him, but her boyfriend for lunch. Like that's a different dynamic. I wouldn't say that that's your like girlfriend. That's like a business relationship where you saying it would happen with the streamer you're working with. That's like a business relationship rather than like a friendship.
Yeah. Yes, you can justify that, but I sort of feel like, and I'm getting the vibe, maybe you kind of feel this as well, that she's kind of telling you how you feel and telling you that you're about things. Yeah. And just, it feels a little bit like almost manipulative. Did you get that vibe? You're better not good. Like, she didn't want to befriend if side of business dynamic. I wouldn't, because for one,
never been in a position where I wanted to befriend that there was no opportunity for us to do business together in any capacity for the sake of just being for friend. Being friend. Like if that was the case, like I'd probably have the intention of.
Yeah, because Larry knows innately that are useless as friends. He even knows it. So why the fuck are you letting her have male friends?
Like it wouldn't be like let's just grab a coffee, grab a bite to eat. It would just be like welcome to your house. There wouldn't really be, but there wouldn't be. It would be malicious intent. Like I just can't seem to ever be in that position unless there was like a business dynamic.
Yeah, there's really no reason to ever be friends with me.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, like, you know, it is a little bit outrageous to have like a male friendship. The only man really that should be in your life at this point is your father, your brother, and Larry. You know, I sort of feel like it, and I think you're gonna sort of agree with me here. Is that you love your wife so much that sometimes you're not willing to put your foot down and say things that you don't like, and that's really good.
Yeah.
You feel so passionately about her. That means the relationship is good. The attraction's there, and I'm very happy for you about that. But I think you're so worried about losing her
You gotta put your foot down with this chick, man.
sometimes that you're sort of losing yourself. You know, and you're
Facts.
But I think you're also looking at your stuff from your perspective, how you would. I don't think you really look at things objectively. I think that's the problem here. You look how you would act.
He is looking at it objectively, and objectively speaking, you're out of control. Okay, it's actually quite to the contrary. Objectively looking at it, you're out of control, lady. You have all these standards and shit like that. Like, bro, you're getting an allowance. Like, what? How you gonna pay an allowance and tell you can't? Crazy to me, bro.
In a situation that you're in, you don't understand it. Like,
no, I'm not even trying to put myself into his shoes or into her message.
Not just not perspective. I feel like you're perceptive and like you hear what you're saying, but you're not really like processing it in a way to understand. Like, hey, like maybe different.
Actually, that's the direct opposite. He's listening to you and he's understanding it, which is why he's coming back with what he's coming back with. He can clearly see that the dynamic here is she was a fancy relationship. He doesn't. She's the demanding one. He's the workhorse. And if things continue on this trajectory, it's just not going to be a good day for Larry. So I would argue he definitely knows what's going on here.
People work a different way. There's a different dynamic with other people, and that's what makes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that dynamic is going to work, right? Yeah, she's basically making an argument like, yeah, you know, you might not look at it as often, but it still works. Yeah, but for how long? You know, relationships like this never last long term. And I'm telling you, once she gets her immigration adjustment, she's out of there, bro. That's turn her to Goku.
That's the beauty of this of us as humans.
That's actually answered the question on your behalf. I was like,
yeah,
actually, the question towards you, and you know, like I said before, it seems like there's some sort of manipulation sometimes, or sort of telling you how you feel. When I was asking you, like, genuinely, could this be it? You know, so like, you don't even have to answer the question. It's just something to keep on your mind. Like, maybe you are just scared of navigating things wrong and losing the thing that you love, and that's very understandable. I don't think that anyone should fault any man for having that sentiment, because that makes you human, right? That makes you truly human. Someone who's not a psychopath, and someone who's deeply in love. So, you know, I admire you for that, and I hope you're able to sort of cultivate this relationship going forward in a way that just makes sense as much as possible for you. So, like, you don't have to say exactly how you feel or exactly what you want on the internet, but just going forward, sort of, I'm just hoping maybe you could keep some of this in the back of your head so that you're looking out for sometimes some of these different tactics that are being used, you know? So, just going forward, it's always good to have that on your subconscious.
This whole where I jumped into an issue since the beginning with her being in contact with a male friend that was many years before my time. And that's the, you know, and maybe here in the chat I can see them spamming on the leash or whatever. Probably people that aren't even really sure themselves.
Yeah, but the thing is that I know he's saying like, yo, it doesn't offend me, but okay, it's still not acceptable just because it doesn't offend you. Right? You know, they have this famous saying like, you don't know what you don't know. Like in this case, Larry doesn't know what he doesn't know. Right? His naivety is gonna do his undoing if he keeps going down his road.
Trying to tell me you're married.
Cruising for a bruising, man.
Like that. So I can see I should behave this way. You know, it's shit, man. When it comes to that particular male friend, I know it's platonic. I take your word for it. I trust my wife. Like there is no discomfort whenever we have.
Look, she could be, and that's true, Larry. On her end, it's probably platonic. Fine, but it ain't on the. That's the point.
Just come through. Talk about it. And this is how come we've been able to make it 5 years, right? Our communication so strong on the side. Just explode one day. Like, well, like, what's really at play here. Like, what do you have going on with this person? Or I don't trust you doing this or that. Or this person, that person. That's not how we get down. Like, we don't argue, we don't fight ever. Right? We generally have a very healthy relationship with our communication. It's rock solid. So these things that, and whether it's the
no, we're fighting on stream. What are you talking about?
beginning, the middle, or now, come up, whatever it is,
Having disagreements on stream, whatever it is.
just talk it out.
Absolutely. And listen, the last thing that I'm trying to do is sit here and say this part of your relationship doesn't work. This isn't going well. Because that would be right. That doesn't make any sense. You guys have been married for 5 years. Understand each other more than I or anyone on the internet ever could. All I'm simply saying is being brought to attention.
Also, optics for you as a social media influencer and the man in the relationship. This is sort of terrible optics.
Mention or being made aware of potentially some other perspectives or some other things that could be going on is always good, right? So, like I said, if you anything is wrong or you should operate differently in any way at all, just something to keep up. When you see different behaviors, it'll sort of be like a little trigger, like, maybe I have to reevaluate my position a little bit. And I've always had people doing that for me, and it's something that's been very useful because love kind of blinds you in a lot of cases. And friends have always been there to look out for me when I wasn't navigating through that kind of stuff in the best way. The same thing was true for me. I was like, no, this is going well. I might be okay with this. And then they tell me, maybe this is a little bit of manipulation. Maybe you can navigate it a little better. Like, yeah. But it's in my head now, and that I can react in a little bit of a different manner going forward.
Yeah. You should have something else.
Over us.
I never tell any of my friends we have a problem. Talk, we speak out, how should we do business. And I don't need my friend to give me perspective on one relationship. They can never get a full grasp, a full picture of our relationship and our dynamic based on like the information I give them because it's just like one sided. My friends hear my story, his friends would hear only his story, so there's never a full picture. So I feel like we should not take anybody's advice on our relationship unless it's something like, okay, we went to a therapist and like we want to like openly say both of our stories and that's like very different situation.
That's where I'm going to hugely disagree that the people around you and the people who are super close to you in your circle shouldn't have an idea of what's going on or shouldn't give you any advice as to sort of what you're doing. Your male friends, if you've cultivated those relationships in the right way, your circle is the right people, will never betray you and always have your back.
And that's what it meant. No, the guys, if they're really got you, but no,
that is not something that can be said about really any, right? So kind of understanding that and that there will always be.
It's that ruin each other's relationships. Guys, we'll keep it real most of the time. Hey, bro, your girl's a bit. No, your girl is a right in the past. However, always ruin each other's relationships.
Those people in your life, those actually true friendships who are doing everything and will look out for you in any way necessary. It's good to have those people having a little bit of a picture into what's going on.
Yeah, you have friends who betray their friends after like 30 years of friendship and they thought they were loyal to you, like the best. I genuinely feel like, and I think we spoke about this and you agree as well. We should not ever put other people in our marriage and talk about, like our problems. We don't bring our relationship up to family with friends. Like we
We're all discussing with each other about certain things because as my wife said, my agreement with her is largely one-sided, and you're telling your problems, your friends and family, whatever it is between your partner, you're only hearing your version of your perspective and not seeing the full picture, right? And usually there's a bias, right? So can they accurately give you advice if they're not seeing the full picture? It was a professional student that you are, right? I'm saying that you're a therapist for someone that's beginning to the relationship. That's different, right? You're not seeing the full picture. But it's never the case. It's always like he said, she said, where it's always just one side.
But here's the thing, just for the audience who are watching, if you're the man and you're wrong and you are just giving your friends your side of the story, that's still okay. That's still not going to be an issue. Because at the end of the day, you should be operating out of self-interest, making a relationship that makes sense to you and the most as possible. So it still won't be a problem.
Do you think that men are wrong? It's all the friends and family closest to that they're admitting that they're wrong, or do you think they're just changing the story to make it fit them best? Like assuming it like
it's like when men have advice, it's typically trying to solve it. Ask for advice, they're typically trying to get sympathy. So when you go to your friends about your chick, more than likely, some issues happened, you're looking for some real advice. just want to vent. So, resolution conflict between men and women is completely different. Okay, and since seek consultation from a very, I don't want to say evil, but from a almost like from a vindictive perspective. That's why the advice that they get is different. Okay, when men are going to their buddies to talk about their girl, a lot of the times it's like, how do I fix this problem? When girls that talk to their buddies, they complain about that said problem and almost leave it open ended because they're not really looking for a solution. And then that's when their friends chime in like, "Oh, girl, you can do better." Blah blah blah. That's the difference.
Doing that, creating a new narrative, it's really not a big deal because, like I said before, like you should be the prize. You are the prize in the relationship as a man.
You're damn right. Not the chick.
I've done everything to sort of set yourself up as a high status, high value male. You know what I mean? So it's like even if you were to, be operating in bad faith for some of this stuff, it still benefits you in terms of operating out of self interest.
What about her?
Well, I mean, it's the name of the game. Not everything in life is fair. Is kind of what I would say.
I agree with
Like it is sort of a battle. It's a power dynamic at the end of the day. Not really a battle, but it's a power dynamic. So maintaining that is extremely important, and it's competitive, right? It's two people playing against each other to maintain that power, and that power should be in the favor of the male in a healthy relationship. That's
the only way it works. Also, because any other way they would get bored and don't want to deal with the guy anymore. The man has to have the power for the benefit.
That's always historically been. That's what makes sense because a man knows how to lead. Two people knows how to lead,
and we know how to appreciate affection. They don't. I guess we got to learn to chat. JCS says Myron is too scared to bring people on their show and talk all this stuff hides behind the screen. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you? Somebody they can't try to read.
Fitly towards success, towards sustainability.
I think that's
smooth brain
the dynamic of men has changed a lot nowadays. Like I think nowadays men are very different from before men. Like have you not noticed that?
Everything that I just said is still true about Larry, even if it's not true about an entire society.
You're speaking in general.
Well, in the context of this, we would be talking.
Well, you were saying historically speaking about men and stuff, so it was not. We were not talking about Larry.
I don't know. Battalion, do you remember? Yeah, battalion stuff. Same. I don't know. What sounds rare. No, I don't know. If we know, that's up to you.
If you are going to do it by 1:30.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe different. Let's see. Okay.
I said sure. I'm saying me and Larry met. I was 28 years old, and at that time you're looking to settle with somebody.
Oh, that's 5 years ago. This chick is 32.
Well, why would I settle with both men? Like we even spoke about.
Well,
want somebody like financially stable. Why would I want if I haven't settled with both men? I don't want to do.
Well, yeah, and that's one that people get so wrong.
They get triggered.
It's if I lost all my money, if I was broke and everything, it's like that's just logical. It's like I would understand.
Back to if I could make money. I was saying if when we met, he was broke. I would not be with him. Like that's just like I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand that. But if it happens, like in life, it happens. Sometimes you have, sometimes you don't have. Things happen. Like God forbid somebody's sick, you have to use all your money. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. But I have the ability to make money, so I will not leave if he was to lose money. But it's absolutely.
Yeah, we come to people with rules and all different parts of so she knows that. She knows that if I hit my box, I'm never have to hear something. Whatever came up, I need to get it all back.
Well, they also spend a crippling amount of that money.
So, right, if I was broke, I was like a loser when I met her, and I was trying to gain her and convince her like I'm a good man person.
Exactly. So I kind of agree with that. Like that's just how that makes sense. They're looking for security for their families in the future. So that's part of who you are as a male. So it's kind of it's a very sensible thing. Yeah.
It's just really just that's the thing.
Dude, what the fuck? These people.
So guys, I did want to react to Greg Doucette. So Greg Doucette, right, made a video just today on responding to the allegations. Okay.
He has to literally make it up.
Dad.
I'm not going to go into depth about what he's talking about.
If somebody's lying about you deliberately on purpose, you know what you would do? You would sue them. And so if you think I'm a liar, let's see me in court. Coach Reagan, in today's video, Larry responds to the Wheelstein files. Is he going to admit it? Is he going to address all the rumors and say, you know what? I'm a man and that is what I want. If you're not ashamed, you're not embarrassed, well, you own it. Or will he just say it's a lie? Stay tuned to find out.
Listen, I see a few messages about react to John and Greg. And listen, my response is they see that we're trending. They want to capitalize on it.
I know that some of you might think that I'm a liar, that I make it up, that I just create things out of thin air in order to get views. Some of you think that it's not true. It's a lie. I don't make it up. I'm not lying when I make any of my videos. But are you going to tell me that John Bravo, that he simply made this all up after all the videos we've seen? When he only will post a video if he knows for certain that what he's saying is true. How many of you think that he made all that up? That somehow John...
Yeah, John Bravo was actually really hesitant to release that video, chat. You know, he didn't want to come off like a bully or anything else like that. But once all the others came out, he was like, you know, man, I got to drop it. It is what it is. So
told me these things, these screenshots, and that he had staged all of it in order to fool Coach Reagan, fool Larry Wheels' wife, fool the entirety of the world. Does anyone believe that? And so what Larry's thinking is...
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, just look at the evidence. Even if you don't like John Bravo or anything else like that, like, look at his past behavior, right, and his past deviancy. It lines up, dude.
That if Larry lies, you know, Larry steals, Larry lies, that if he continues to deny it, that it will just go away. Now, here's the thing. When you do these said acts, I'm not going to repeat them, you know at some point that they are going to come out. You cannot be a famous multi-millionaire with millions of followers and spend all your monies on cam girls.
Yep, that shit's going to come out at some point, bro.
And the rest of it, and not think that it's never going to come out. You know at one point, when you're texting messages saying you want to be, and so on, that eventually it's going to come out. We've seen his ex-girlfriend post on Instagram talking about all of these things, and yeah, she took it down, but I know there's hundreds of thousands of you out there that actually saw it. And you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to talk about that. If you believe that I am a liar, and that John Bravo's a liar, and that all his exes are liars, well, what am I supposed to say? If you want to turn the blind eye, then by all means, you do what you want. We know that Larry Wheels had taken $50,000 from one of his closer friends in order to put a down payment on his house. We know that for fact. It was in court. And John Bravo exposed that as well. Larry...
Yeah, I mean, you look at the evidence, you look at the pattern of behavior. Hey, man.
He's looking into the camera, and he's saying these things, and he's hoping that you believe him. You're thinking, you know what? Not everyone trusts that Greg guy. Oh, he just is a 5'6" man. Like, he's a loser. His videos, they're all about drama. And so this is just drama, and so it isn't true. You really think that the videos I'm making are lies?
Greg and John are capitalizing on this track. We got collectively over 1 billion views by now, between all the different platforms sharing our clips.
Have I not done videos of Larry Wheels in the past? Do I not speak what's going on? And so, of course, if Larry does viral content, I am going to react to it. Case in point, then Larry slapped Dean. Did I not make a video on that? Why would I make a viral video about Larry being made when I could have made the same video about Mr. Beast? If I was making up lies just to get views, why wouldn't I make bigger lies about bigger influencers? Does that make sense? Why would I pick on Larry? Do you guys actually think that I have a beef with Larry? I literally was in a video with Larry. It was not that long ago. And so, do I in fact hate Larry Wheels? I do not. I'm simply reporting the facts. The news, and FYI, this is newsworthy.
Look at our videos relative to other videos like Greg is posting. We have like maybe 10x the views on our video about us compared to whatever else he's talking about.
Larry's saying I'm a liar that I made all this shit up. Larry said I'm getting 10 extra views on Larry Wheels videos than all my others. Mike Israel is only 2.5 times less. It's a video about him being one fart away from being 3.6% body fat. And so, which YouTuber do you think that I?
Yeah, Mike also got beat up pretty badly by Greg Doucette, man. He's cooking that boy, man. Also, guys, don't forget, book is out. Why reserve even less? Okay, don't forget to get it and just.
I would prefer talking about Larry Wheels or Mike Gisratel, Mr. Mike. If I was going to, and I wouldn't do this, make up a lie, don't you think it would be about Mr. Mike more so than Mr. Larry Wheels? No, it isn't true that I'm getting 10 extra views on Larry Wheels videos than everything else.
He's getting washed out. Everybody's watching his own drama.
If I'm washed out, why are people watching all my videos about Larry Wheels when it's about drama? Two things can be true at the same time. I can make videos about drama and still get views and not be washed out. Is it drama when I make a video about Malibu Fit, talking about his rise to popularity, why he got famous and so on? I mean, how is that bad? And so Larry Wheels, who's way more...
All the new members of OSS that just joined, welcome, guys. Welcome to the OSS thing. Welcome. Happy to have you guys. First month is $1. After that, it's after. So if you don't like it, you can cancel. No risk to you besides 99 cents. So you won't be able to use another discount though. But welcome to all you new guys in the OSS. We're happy to have you. You got a fucking army here. Now you guys can see, if you notice the show, I have an OSS only chat, which is hilarious because it shows all the memes that you guys post. And you guys got some creative memes. I will say that. Yep. Funny, bro. Yo, holy shit. Is this $100 for the year still? No, I actually decreased it for you guys. It's use the code JFK911 and you get it for like 50 or 60, I forget, for the year. JFK911 is a code if you want to get it for a year. Great discount. JFK was the last one.
More famous, way more popular than Coach Greg. He has 3.4 million followers, and I only have 2.4. And remember, I'm all washed up. I got 9 million views of long-form content. That's what pays the big dollars, guys. If you sing a song for 10 seconds, you get slapped in the face, and you have a 3-second clip, and it's watched a billion times, you don't make much money.
Yeah, shorts are more for discovery, not for generating revenue.
Larry, in comparison, 2 million views. Last I checked, and I am good at math, I have 4.5 times more long-form views than Larry Wheels. And so if I'm washed up, let's assume that I am, Larry is more washed up. Does it not make more sense that Larry would stop making YouTube videos because it doesn't pay very much when you're only good at doing short form content? And when you do kick and you stage slaps and you stage this and stage that and say a bunch of do things and do all kinds of nonsense, let rampage flirt with your wife, all kinds of. If you allow that, you can get paid more money. And so is it possible that Larry, due to losing his viewership on long-term views, needing to make more money, does he in fact have a gold digger wife? She's saying that she is.
I want to vent me. I'm tired of this one. I'm curious. I need every 3 months a new car.
Listen, nobody, gold digger, not back here. Yeah,
bro, there's no saving this. There's really no saving this. Okay, let's transition over to hierarchy. Let's transition over. Alcohol is it. Those aren't interested in dealing with this book. Alcohol industry has lost 830 billion in 4 years because Gen Z is not drinking. Okay, so this is something that I, predicted would happen, right? And it's already occurring. So it goes here, and I said, guys are waking up that drinking is only to get women. However, since most women are insufferable, they don't want to waste their time, money, health, and energy in the pursuit of women like millennials, right? So Gen Zers are bored because I would be considered a millennial. Anyone born in like the 80s or 90s is considered a millennial. Gen Z are guys born in 1997 on, right? 1997 to 2012. So basically, the generation after me, like my brother's generation. This generation benefits from the red pill way more than my generation did. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube, right? Like, it wasn't until we became adults that the internet was like a ubiquitous thing. Does that make sense, Shot? But now, these young people can go on the internet, get on YouTube, and handle any of their problems, right? A lot of people forget that YouTube is almost like a do-it-yourself app. The reason why YouTube is so popular is because a normie can open up YouTube and find out how to change a tire, right? How to, switch a light bulb, whatever. Then it morphed into like a more entertainment streaming platform. But people always forget that YouTube was like one of the original bastions in helping people with getting things done. And one of the problems that guys would use YouTube for was, how do I get girls, right? And as guys started putting, how do I get girls, now all of a sudden Fresh Fit pops up. Now Roland Tabasa pops up. Now Andrew Tate pops up, right? Now other people in this side of the internet pop up. MGTOW starts to pop up, right? I know I've been talking about MGTOW a very long time. For those of you that are unaware, MGTOW was like kind of a movement within the red pill, right? Called men going their own way. Now I remember that people used to scoff at this concept when MGTOW people would say, "Oh yeah, men are going their own way," blah blah blah. And they used to say, "What the hell, bro? What is that? That sounds like some incel bullshit." Well, look, it's happening. It's happening right now because the decrease in alcohol consumption isn't because dudes are like want to get super healthy. That might be a part of it, but the real reason is that drinking alcohol for you as a man, a lot of times it's going to be intimately tied to the action of females. And since most women don't want most men, most guys struggle in a sexual marketplace, why are they going to be spending their time and energy and effort going to the club and just keep getting curved? And then on top of that, they're on YouTube and they're listening to niggas like us saying, "Yo, there's no point to go to fight. Get your shit together." There's no point, right? So on one end, you have people like myself saying, "Yo, this women are get your sexual market value up before you even bother going to the club." Then on top of that, like I'm telling you this on YouTube, and then on top of that, what I'm telling you is being affirmed by your life experiences. Let me give you guys an example to really draw this. Right? In an imaginary world, let's say you're a Blueville Normie, right? You're 20 years old, 5, 6 years ago. You're just fresh out of high school. You got your high school sweetheart. Things are going well. But after you guys graduate high school, she goes on to college. You beg her not to. You want to go with her, but you didn't get accepted to school. You try to find a way to move with her over there. And through much pain and tribulation, you're unable to do it, right? She comes back for her first winter break, and you notice that she's distant. She isn't as into you as before. Now all of a sudden, when you say, "Hey, I want to come visit you on campus," she has excuses. Now she has a new group of friends. And before you know it, you're getting hit with the... She breaks up with you. There's a girl that you spent the last 3 or 4 years with, and she breaks up with you. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's going on. You feel like the world's going to end. You talk with your buddies. They're like, don't worry about it, man. We're gonna go out. We'll figure this shit out. Okay. You reluctantly agree. You go with them to the nightclub. You're approaching girls left and right, trying to hit on them, introduce yourself, and you notice a cold shoulder. None of them really engage with you in conversation. They look at you for a second, they go back to their phone. As you try to start conversation with multiple women, they're getting pulled by their beluga whale friend. They're getting pulled into sections. You talk to 30 girls, strike out with every single one. You get 2 or 3 numbers. But you strike out with every other girl. You wake up the next day, groggiest, feel like shit. You text those girls that you contacted, no response. You go hit up another girl that you went to high school with. Hey, I'm single now. You want to hang out? Oh, yeah, sure. You guys plan a date? She flakes. So, within the span of a few weeks, you lose your girl, you strike out horribly at the nightclub, a girl that you thought you might have been able to court or get with flakes on you and doesn't even show up. Frustrated, you take to YouTube and type in, how do I get girls? You find me. And not only do I explain why a girl would break up with you when she goes off to college, I also explain how nightclubs are a waste of time. And unless you got a section or you have your shit together or whatever, you're a child, you're going to have a very difficult time. I talk about hypergamy, I talk about women. It's at that moment that everything clicks. Oh, shit. Does this nigga know me? What's going on here? He just connected the dots about why I have all these problems with females. I've always thought this, but I couldn't say it. Holy shit, I'm not alone. You get addicted. You watch more of our shows. You tune after ours, see female nature there. You see our breakdowns of cultural events where women display horrible behavior, and then you become a supporter of the movement, right? But let's, kind of peel this back. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm unapologetically describing, to some degree, your experience. That is why people watch this shit. This is why people care about what I gotta say. Because I'm telling you guys stuff, or preparing you guys for stuff that your father, your uncle, your brother won't, a lot of the times. Whether it's by their ignorance or because they don't know how the sexual marketplace works now, things have changed significantly. Now, let's go back to the original article here. Alcohol consumption is down. Well, why is alcohol consumption down? Alcohol consumption is down because men, like the scenario I just gave you, are realizing that nightlife, bars, etc., are simply not conducive environments to pick up women unless you're a high sexual market value guy. Average dudes are going to strike out. So if you take the fact that, number one, the red pills exploded in popularity, then number two, most guys share experiences with always striking out at the club and or nightlife, it's no wonder that alcohol consumption is down. There's no point. Because most guys know that drinking alcohol is intimately tied to the pursuit of women. So why are you going to drink alcohol if you're not even bothering to pursue the women? Most guys are social drinkers. They're going to drink just to get drunk. And I would argue that men of this generation are far more red-pilled on female nature than my generation. Don't get it twisted, we still got a lot of sins. But for you guys, like the red pills become mainstream. My generation, it wasn't. So first I want to open up with this, that alcohol sales are down 830 billion. And I would argue a big reason why it's down is because a lot of men are walking away, right? Then I saw this video here where Mike Maslick talks about this, and he kind of dances around the topic, by the way, which I always thought was kind of funny. I'll play it one time through, and then I'll play it and break it down. One time through, and then I'll just give me 1 second.
Alcohol is in decline. Alcohol is in rapid, permanent decline, they're saying.
Yes.
There's just a lot of people out there who just don't want to drink alcohol anymore. It's very, it's very detrimental to your health, to your decision making, obviously. And so some people are going towards psychedelics, some people are doing drugs. Like there's a lot of stuff going on out there, but alcohol has become, it's in decline. And so when you're seeing along with that, you're seeing a lot of very alcohol dependent scenarios also decline. And that means super clubs, because there's really no way to want to spend that much time in a club, like a super club, without being under the influence. It's just not so I think the trend will continue to push towards lounges, places that you can have conversation, which is great. And of course, like we live in a world where everybody wants to have they want to